So good afternoon, and thank you, first of all, thank you very much for allowing me to present my vision, my dream, my project in front of you. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you, each and everyone, and taking your lunch time for me. It's a great to be here. So right now I'm initiating a project called Sristi Village. It's for the people with intellectual disability, where they can live, learn, work, generate income, and lead an independent and dignified life. That's my dream. So, but why I need to start this project? Actually, for this I need to go back to the 17 years back. Actually, I grew up in an orphanage in Pondicherry. It's back in a home in South India. I spent more than 17 years in the orphanage. It is a special orphanage. It is an inclusive orphanage for the children with a disability and for the non-disabled children. I grew up with them. And then during the time, actually, we never find any difference among ourselves. We never ever find any difference. We were fighting together, we were playing together. Actually, it's like big family actually. But so you can find the people with the children with the disability, children with intellectual disability, children with the various other kind of disability, and also the non-disabled children like me. It was a kind of the inclusive big family. But I noticed actually as a non-disabled children, I got an opportunity to go to school and go to college, go to university and finish my schools. But my brothers who are the children with intellectual disability, they don't get any opportunity. Mostly the schools are rejected them. They don't allow them to get possible to go to school. Mostly they said it's not possible for us to admit in the school. For me it's a big shock actually, also big hurted me a lot. Then I decided to start to study about psychology to learn more about the disability, especially with intellectual disability. And then I specialized with the subject in the disability field. And then I became the director of the same orphanage. And then I worked as a director for many years. And during that time, I initiated many projects for the children with intellectual disability. I initiated a special school for them to train some skills, and I initiated a vocational training centers to teach some skills for them. And many times I noticed actually there is something need to do for them. So the schools is not enough actually. So mostly they are learning some basic skills, they're learning some day-to-day activities, they learn some skills to make some handicraft work, all the things they're making. But the outside world, always they are rejecting them, they are always isolating them. And the many incidents affected me, and especially one incident really hurted me. Then that incident made me to think I have to do something else. And when I was the director, I got a call one day from one of the biggest hospital in Pondicherry. And they called me, Karthik, can you please come to the hospital? I said, is anything important? And the doctor said, no, it's most important, please come. And then I went to the hospital and I saw a man around 23-year-old boy. He's sitting on the bed. He was sitting on the bed and he seems like an intellectual disability. And then I asked doctor what happened to him, and the doctor said someone admitted in the hospital for a few days back for fever, and he completely recovered. Now the doctors want to discharge him, and nobody turned back to bring him to the home. And he was sitting for the many days, and I can still remember his eyes. He was looking for someone actually, probably his mother or his parents actually. And then I asked, can you please give me the case record? Then I could able to try to trace out the address and to try to find their parents. I got the case history record, and then I got the address and tried to find in my city, in my own town and the nearby villages, but there is no such address found in. They just given all the false information and they just want to abandon him. And this is not an isolated case. And when I was in the orphanage, mostly we are getting the children from the street, from the police station, from the railway station, from the hospital, from some other social welfare organization. So I thought, okay, something happening actually. The people, they don't want them actually. So what's happening in their life? Then I started to travel a little bit in and around in India. So what's happening in their life? And then I noticed it's very hard for the people to take care of them. Mostly the family are in poor condition. The father and mother, they have to go to their job. They are unable to look after the child with the disability to manage them. So they just abandon them. And then I noticed I need to find some other organization what they are doing, because in our orphanage what we are providing the special education, we are giving the food and shelter and everything. But after 18 years, it's a big question mark. They don't have any place. In case of the non-disabled children, it's not a big problem. We finishing our school, we finish our university, and then we get a job, and then we easily reintegrated with the mainstream society. Many of in my generation, they got married, they got a job, and they settled well. They easily reintegrated with society. But those who are with intellectual disability still staying in the home and depending on the people. For me, it's something we have to do for them. Then I travel and then check with is any organization working in India for the people with intellectual disability, especially for adults. And then I found a really good, very good organization. They're really functioning well. They are doing a good job. But most of the organization, they're working for the children. So after 18 years, after 20 years, it's a big questions actually. So they just they finish in the school vocational training and then go back to the home, and the parents already old. They need someone to look after them, so they don't give enough attention to this person. So they're just sitting idly at home. If the parents are well-to-do family, they appoint someone to look after the man, like a housemaid or someone. And if their family are poor, they just abandon. This is what just mainly happening. And then I come back, actually we need to do something. Then I started to train them in vocational training skills to make some handicraft. At least we can engage them to make some product, and we could sell the product, and through the income they can able to lead the life. Then I was excited to teach some vocational training. I appointed a teacher, and then the children, the young adolescents, young adults, they started to engage in the work, learn some skills. They made some beautiful products actually. And then when you bring this product to the market, and there are huge products already available in the market, there's a big competition already there. And then people, even though buying those products, but they're just saying that, oh, if I spend money on this product, this goes to for the welfare of people with a disability. And they're not buying the product for the skill, for the product, but for the charity. For me, it's not good actually, because I know they are spending the whole day for making a small cup. Completely you can see then how honestly they are making one cup. But the people just buying for the charity, is that, no, it's not right actually. Even though we are selling the product, but it is not for your skill, it's for your disability. I don't want that actually. So what else we can do? So let's find some job. But finding the job, we need some skills actually. So I thought, okay, we'll find any vocational training centers better than our orphanage. Then I found some other organization is run by Government of India. One of the vocational training centers in Government of India, they are providing the automobile mechanic kind of assistant for the people with intellectual disability. And I sent some bunch of boys to go there and learn some skills. They learn for 2 years actually. And they're really skilled and got the government certificate actually. I was very happy. Oh, now they are qualified actually. Now we could able to get the job. Then I came with a certificate and tried to find the job all over my city, and nobody ready to give a job. And they said, oh, it's very highly risk for us to provide a job for a person with intellectual disability. And even more, they said they are not normal. And for me, it's, come on, nobody wants them actually. Again, they end up back to the orphanage. And so much struggles all the years. Actually, it's already took more than 6-7 years, all the way it's journey gone. And again, we have a gathering like this all the time. I'm sitting with them actually talking, okay, what else we could do. And one of the girls said, why you are searching job from the outside? Why don't you make something from the orphanage itself? Then I said, oh, we made handicraft things, but it doesn't work. Okay, we are buying vegetables from outside. Why don't you grow from the orphanage itself? I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't you do that actually? Then we got a piece of land from the orphanage, a very tiny piece of the land. And then with some of the boys and girls and some of the volunteers from the European country, we went and cleaned the land. We made a fence around the land, and we are so excited. And then we are ready to plant something. And one day, I really happy to share actually. It's so much pleasure feeling to remember all the incident happened on that day. One day I brought the seed to plant some vegetables in a small piece of land. And one of the boy is a person with intellectual disability. He came to me, brother, what is this? I said, it's a seed. And if you put it to the ground, whatever you see, like a plant or trees and everything is grow from this seed. And he laughed at me. And he said, it looks like a stone, how it grows. I said, it's a challenging for me because I never had any experience before with the planting or with the gardening. I said, Anbu, his name is Anbu. Anbu, do one thing. You put it in the ground, watering on it every day. And he did, very honestly he did. And I still remember that day I was working in my office, in my computer, and he was running and he came to me, brother, come, we want to go. And I said, where Anbu? He was running and I was running behind him, and then he opened the door of the garden and he showed 2 leaves coming out from the ground. That changed his life actually. It changed his behavior, it changed his personality. And afterwards what he did, he locked the garden, he kept the key, he never allowed anybody. And even he very careful, and then always telling to the people, don't step on the grass, it's all life. So that changed completely his life. And then he started to involve in the garden project. He started to grow some vegetables, he got some training, and then he encouraged other people, and then bunch of the people with the disability involving in the garden. And then he started to grow some vegetables, and they are very proud. And then until then they were receivers. They are all the time they are receiving from the people. Now they are contributing back to the orphanage, and they are very proud. And every time when they are bringing the vegetable from the garden to the kitchen, today we want this dish. They have the kind of authority. Okay, now I'm contributing back, so I need something. Actually, they are getting a rights. So I thought, this works really well. Why don't you make it as a bigger actually? So there I thought, okay, we need to do something. So I found what we have to do, what they can do. And then I noticed, then later on I realized, and I started to study about how the people with intellectual disability can involve in the farming thing. But I don't have any background about farming actually. Basically I studied psychology and specialized with the disability field. Then I get some information from the native farmers and everything. And then I left the orphanage. At one point actually, okay, now I need to do the new experiment, and then completely I left the orphanage. I started to study more about the social projects, and then my journey started actually. So it's very hard to, because until in the orphanage actually I grew up there and I had a personal commitment. I never get any salary from the orphanage. I thought, okay, I want to give back to the orphanage something where I grew up. Then once I left, I said, oh, I need money. For my food actually, where going to stay, and it was very hard time in my life. And then, but just I left the orphanage only with the hope and the dream. And then I studied a 7-month international social entrepreneurship skill run by the German organization, and they given me like a seed money to initiate my project. And then I started to find a land, and at least I need 5 to 10 acres of land to start my project. If I want to demonstrate to the people, or if the people can get benefit through my project. And land value is very expensive, incredibly, cannot be able to buy it actually. The seed money I got, maybe the little piece I could get, but then I started to raise money. I found the piece of good land, and that time Samantha and her friend visited my project actually. I talked about my project, and then they raised $6,000 from US, and then some other friends from the Germany, the family who supported for my education, they supported me, and the money I got from the institute where I studied, the scholarship money, all together I put to buy the land. But even I need more money actually. Then there's a lot of the miracles happen in my life to get the land actually. One thing, at one point the landowner said, okay, how long it takes to give the whole money? I said at least a year. He said, I can't able to wait for a year. You could able to pay the whole money in 3 months. I'm ready to give the land. I said, okay, no problem. But that time I had actually the total value of the land, it's nearly $65,000. But that time I had only $5,000. I said, no problem, we'll make it. And then 3 months gone, I didn't get any money actually. Then he said, I'm going to sell the land to someone else. I said, please, this is my dream, really I want to do that. And he said, I need $15,000 in 10 days because I want to buy the tractor. If you could able to make it, then I will hold the land for you. No problem, I'll do that. 10 days, $15,000 is impossible actually for me. But on the 9th day evening, I given the $15,000. It happened. Just happened. I just wrote the mail and I approached the people and they just given the money. It just happened. And then later, there were so many people supported, and especially I'm not sure we have a time, but one of the donor, just person from one of my friends, she referred him from the Netherlands. He visited my project in the very early stage of my project. And he asked me what you are doing. I don't know anything about him. Okay, he is my friend of my friend. I need to give the good hospitality. That's why I know about him actually. Then he asked me, do you have any idea about what you are going to do, what you need? And I said all about my dream or my project. And he asked, do you have any concept note, any budget, everything? I said, yeah, I have. And then I given to him. I totally forgot about him. And at one point, I was really struggling to pay money to get the land. And then that evening, I get a mail from him. Oh, Karthik, we approved your project. We are planning to give the 40,000 euros for you. Who is he? And he's the director of one of the big foundation in Netherlands. That way, we got the land. And then I did a survey in the village nearby the land, how many people with intellectual disability are living on the nearby our land. And then I found nearly 355 children and people with a disability who are living surrounded by our project area. And then it's relatively high, and there is no project. And as per the statistics, there are the 1.6 million people with intellectual disability are living in India, and more than 75 to 80% of them are living in rural part of the India. But most of the organization, most of the non-profit are working in urban setup. So I thought, okay, here is the right place actually. I ended in the right place. I want to do something for the people living in the rural area. Then I started to bring like 10 people with intellectual disability. They started to join even from the very early stage, and we started to grow some vegetables on the land. We're giving some training, basic training, how to involve with the farming and all the thing. And slowly we constructed one mud house. You can see that. This one actually, this is also very interesting story. The mud house, actually we don't get so much rain. Normally we get rain for 3 months and complete rain after dry. So we need to do the rain water harvesting. And we thought, why don't we construct some pond, water pond actually, and then we dig land in different places, and we got so much mud. Oh, what we can do with the mud? Let's build a house. Then that's the house actually. It's a very basic house we built in the hut with full of mud and bamboo. Bamboo we got from the neighboring land, and we constructed all the people. We done this land, and we are living in this house right now actually. So we are right now around 15 people with intellectual disability, including myself, and we are 20 people. We are living on the land actually. We have started to work on the land, and then every day so many things are changing. And the good thing is we are also getting so many volunteers, interns mostly from the European countries who are involving in our day-to-day activities. Some people, they do the internship as a social work students or the international business development students, and some special educator students. They are involving with us. They are doing a volunteer service or the internship or field work study. They are really helping me in day-to-day activities, because I don't have so much money to pay to staff, but these people are really helping in everyday activities. Right now there are 6 volunteers are working in my project. That's why I'm standing here. They are so good actually, and so many things slowly adding up actually, and then people started to help actually. Still we are managing all the thing, but the progress not only happened on the village, but still I'm here, still I'm happy to be here, because I was, after I left the orphanage, I was on the street for 4 months, without food, without proper shelter. I was struggling actually. But still it's motivating me. There is one person behind this, his name is Senvil. He's right now in our project. He is 32 years old, and he is the intellectual disability. He finished his special school, and he finished his vocational training center. And once he finished, he came back to his home. And he's noticed his brothers and sisters, everyone got married, and they have a job, and they have an independent life. And he asked his mother, I would like to get married. And his mother said, nobody interested to get married you. One, you are the mentally retarded. And second thing, you don't have any job. You don't have any money to lead your family. Then he started to search a job. Now all over even though he qualified as the automobile mechanic, and nobody interested to give any job since he is an intellectual disabled person. And he's so much upset, and he noticed everybody has the independent life. I don't have any independent life. I don't have any job. So why I need to believe? So he started to roaming around the city in my town actually, and he had so many problems with the police, with the neighbor, and all the time. At one point, his mother decided she unable to manage him, so she decided to admit him in a home, in institutional care. But she admitted in a home for the aged, and then he don't like to be stay there, so he started to run away from the home for many times. At one point, the management decided to put him in a room. They locked for 3 years. I heard about him, and then I went in the very early stage of my project, and then I said, oh, I really want to see him. And I talked with the management. I told, I'm a psychologist, I know how to manage him, so nothing to worry about that, please give me a key. And then I went and I opened the door. I was sitting in the middle of the room in one small chair, and I found so many plates with food and without food, clean and not clean, because they given the food under the door all the time. He was in the room for 3 years, and I saw the long hair, long nails, and he was very tiny. And then I slowly grabbed his hand and he look at me. In the beginning he was a little bit scared, and then slowly I brought him to outside. We washed him, we cut all the hair, and then I brought to the land. I said, Sendil, this is your home. Honestly, we never did any therapy, any counseling to him. I just said, it's your home. You do what you want to do here. That's what we did. And slowly he started to mingle with others. Actually, when I brought him, he forgot to speak. He unable to speak anything. He unable to recognize his own mother. He normally want to be alone. He never mingle socially with other people. He's always, whenever we have a gathering, always sitting alone somewhere actually. But one day, I still remember the day because it was my birthday. So my community members decided to have the surprise birthday celebration for me. So they organized a gathering in our land, and everybody, we were sitting like this, and he joined first time, and everyone talking about our project. And first time he stood up, and everybody looked at him. Okay, and then he said, Karthik brother said, don't waste food, don't put plastic on the land. That was the first words he spoke after 3 years. And everyone find tears. We hugged him actually. Now he is so much involved in our day-to-day activity, he involving in our daily activities. So he is really interested in watering the plant. So that's what's happening at Sristi Village. So our future idea is, I noticed that there are so many people with intellectual disability are living in India, and especially in rural part India. So we couldn't be able to make it to give opportunity for everybody. So we're planning to start like a farm academy where the people with intellectual disability, they can come and stay for 3 years and learn all the farming skills. And we are planning to involve all the parents and the community members in our curriculum, so they can also get to know their skills, how the people can work, all the thing. And after finishing, they go back to their community, go back to their home, they can start their own project, like a small dairy farm, or small vegetable gardening, or small mushroom cultivation. And we as a Sristi team will get all the material from them, and we will help them to market those products. And once they have the money, they can lead their independent life. What I noticed, if they have earnings, if they have money, the society and the family, they recognize them. So I thought, okay, you need money. Okay, let them train them to get money. That way it's happening. That's what we are trying to do, and it's very 1-year-old organization, and still we are finding so many changes happening in the life of people with intellectual disability. That's what I'm doing in India. And thank you very much for giving me a space to talk about my dream, my life. And I have a small video, if you have a time, just 4 minutes video to show. Yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Karthik. I'm an initiator of Sristi Village project. The millets are growing here. This is our first plants which we are cultivating in our Sristi Village land. Sristi means creation. I want to create an inclusive, self-sustaining and eco-friendly village for the marginalized and the people with intellectual disability. The good thing is that all the seeds are sown by the people with intellectual disability. It was a lot of fun in the beginning when we started the cultivation because nobody knows how to do the cultivation. Why farming? In the farming, you need to be slow down and relax, and you can do your work properly. Farming is the best rehabilitation for the people with intellectual disability. Everyone has an opportunity based on the individual skills, ability, and interest. We go for the organic farming. We use natural manure, vermicompost. So we want to save our rainwater. So we constructed the farm pond which regenerate the groundwater level and also keep our environment clean through the solar energy. And I noticed our community people and already everybody involving in everywhere. We can see the people working in the construction, the vegetable gardening, and someone cleaning. Everybody engaged in their work.
தண்ணி கூட இந்த பாசத்தில் பாஞ்சு
தண்ணி உனக்கு இங்க இருந்து நான் எடுத்து கொடுத்துறேன். அந்த டியூப் வாங்கி வந்து போடுறேன்.
பாயிண்டான்.
ஆமா ஆமா. This village is not specially for the people with a disability. It is an inclusive village. So we want to bring the people from the marginalized, orphan, aged people and everybody together and working together, living together. சரி
இல்ல இது வரைக்கும் போட்டா போ நம்ம தண்ணிக்கு பாயத்து கொட்டறதுக்கு
பிள்ளைங்க செய்யற வரைக்கும் செஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கட்டும்.
அதான்
அப்ப ஒரு பக்கம் In 5 years, this project can be a model, a new mindset change of the people to think about the people with disability and especially people with intellectual disability. I invite you all to visit us, to stay with us, to work with us. I invite you all to Sristi Village. Okay, thank you. Oops.
I think we have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
So if there's questions or comments.
I think we have a little more than that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is that you in the rearview mirror in the motorcycle?
No, that's not me. People ask that. I should just, yeah. I'm present.
So if you have any questions, yeah.
Tell us more about this trip you're on now. You're in California. What's your
Oh yes, it's a great opportunity in my lifetime actually. Thanks to Sam and Vijay for brought me here. Thank you. So the main intention of my trip to get a training on permaculture. So I attended a training program at Quail Springs for the 15 days training program. It's really, really helped me to understand the permaculture, the design pattern actually. So already what we are doing, we work with the native farmers who are living close to our land. But this permaculture helped me to get the more depth understanding about how to do the farming in a proper way. So that's what the main intention of my visit to United States. Of course, my friends are here, so they're great to be here. I learned a lot for the last 15 days actually. Vijay was attending with me. We learned so many things for the rainwater harvesting, mud house construction, and then integrated animal system. So these are all we are doing, but it's much, much better now. I know the real understanding how to do that. I love to see state first time in the States and to see the different part of the world and meet the people. Really nice to be here. And all the time meeting very nice people. Really lovely to be here. Yeah.
Could you say a couple of things about the organic character of your project and how the people at the village themselves understand that and appreciate that? They seem to take to organic farming immediately. I mean, from what you said, could you say some things about how you discuss that and how it works concretely?
Yeah, actually, the good thing is I never been to the conventional farming, directly involved in the organic farming. That's a good thing from my part, actually. I have a good partners. We have a good network organization. They call the Organic Farmers Network in Tamil Nadu from the area. And one of the women, she's helping us. She's visiting our project once in a week, and she helping us what to do every time. She giving the instruction, she helping us to do the farming. But the people who are living next to our village, they never do the organic farming, they do the conventional farming. In the beginning they said, for example, when I was digging the pond, actually the big pond, and they said, what you are doing? I said, I need to do the rainwater harvesting, and they were laughing at me. We don't get enough water, this is never going to happen. You cannot believe. Third day we got a heavy rain, we dig the 3 pond full. It happened. But it is very difficult for them to understand what we are doing. But it's a good thing. A lot of the native, very indigenous practices, actually. The conventional farming happened after the Second World War, and especially we have the Green Revolution started in India in 1960s, 70s, actually. That's one of the things collapsed the whole indigenous farming system. But luckily we have the grandpa, one of the old farmer, he is living with us. He is from the neighborhood village. He knew all the old traditional systems, actually. When he's used to with the conventional farming, but when I was talking about the organic farming, I know this because my grandpa did, my father did, I did. That's what we want to do here, actually. Then slowly he started to talk about his indigenous method of farming system. This way we are trying to find out to practice all the farming. And also I collected the history of 100 years of the land, what it can grow on the land, and then I found the millets crops can grow very well on the land. So we done actually our first, probably you saw on the video, the first crop is millet. We harvested last January, and really good harvesting. It was a good harvesting. So that was happening. But now the people slowly seeing that the two way we have our project bringing the mindset change of the local village people. In the very beginning also, when I bring the people with intellectual disability, like 5-6 people with me, we were walking on the road, and then all the people look at me because you see we are with a different structure. One boy is running here, one boy going there, and then come we go, and then I grab all the people and we walking on the road, and then people ask me, what you are going to do with these boys? I said, we are going to do the farming, and then they were laughing at me. Actually, they were totally. And then once they visiting right now, the people's honestly involving on the project. I mean, when they do the watering, they do watering. They never do anything. When they doing the plantation, they do only the plantation. When they do the harvesting, they do only harvesting. They are so surprised how they involving in this project, actually. And they're changing the mindset of the people about the disability, first of all. And second thing, they get to know about the organic farming. Even though I'm not so much familiar with the organic farming, but now we can see the result. Not with the harvesting, but with the less input, but we are getting a lot of output. But with the conventional farming, they are giving a lot of chemicals. They need to buy the pesticide and all the anything. But in our organic farming, we don't have so much to give. Only the cow dung, the cow manure and compost. That's it. And then only the methods of doing the farming. That's it. But we are getting the good harvesting. So it's also bringing the changes, but I'm sure it takes time.
Do you have large animals to pull the plow?
Animal?
Yeah, do you have cows or?
We have one cow.
This one cow is a lot.
Yeah, actually, we bought the cow before I left India. Actually, one cow and one small calf. Actually, so we got a little contribution from one of the industries. They given some money to buy the 3 cows. I thought maybe we go with one cow in the beginning. How the people can move with the cow. It's the first time they are working with the animal. But I heard they are lovely. Actually, the cows are helping us. But my priority not for the milk, but for the cow urine and cow dung, for the compost. Actually, we have as an indigenous system to make they call panchakavyam. We use the cow dung, cow urine, milk, jaggery, and then banana. We mix everything together and we wait for 15 days, and then we can get the fermentation from that, and then we filter it, we get the water, and we can mix 1 liter of the fermentation with the 10 liter and spray on the land. That's a best
Fertilizer.
best fertilizer.
Yeah.
And that's helped a lot. So we all the time we are borrowing cow dung from the neighbor, and finally we have our own cow. So we are using it, and also we are getting a milk. Right now we are getting the 7 to 8 liters of milk every day, and the people consuming 4 liters, and the 4 liter they started to sell. Yeah, so we have one animal, but soon after I attended the permaculture training program, and I got so many ideas actually. So we're planning to have some goats, some ducks, some chicken, because these are all will help so much thing. And also those are the native animals from my village, so this can easily able to adopt our village environment. So we are thinking to bring one by one. But honey, sure. Honeybee, we are planning to start immediately once I back. Yeah. So anyway, these are the slowly it's happening in our. Yes, please.
It sounds as if you kept a very positive attitude and open mind when you were trying to put this together and you were struggling, and yet somehow you kept yourself open to manifest this land. Can you say anything about how you did that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, first time you were asking. Yeah, it was a struggling moment in my life. Once I left the orphanage, even personally to manage to maintain my life, it was very hard actually. Because until I was in the orphanage, all my basic need fulfilled by the orphanage. I don't get the salary, but all my food and all my basic need fulfilled by the orphanage management. But once I left, it was very hard for me to find the place to stay, get the food, and find the money, find the land. It was very hard for me. It's my personal life. And second thing is, so we have the bunch of people with intellectual disability, and everyone has own background. And especially one man, he is 40 years old, he is an intellectual disability. He was on the street for nearly 15 years. He just left the home, nobody wants him, so he went to the on the street. He lived 15 years, and when I heard about him, I brought him to our village project. It's very hard for him and hard for us too. It is not easy for him suddenly to adopt in the village something like a community or something. He always used to take the rag pickers, he always roaming around the villages and getting all the plastic and go to sell those things, and went to the alcohol shop to started to drink. It's hard for me to manage him, and slowly we bring him, and then started to give the food and whatever he wants to do, then we go with his way, and then finally brought him. So everyone has own background. It is not easy for them to adopt our village community immediately. So it always takes time actually. So you need to have a patience, and you need to work almost 24 hours. You don't know when the problem will arise actually. Those probably I don't feel it is a problem, but it's naturally it's happen actually. Even for me, it's hard to be here actually in the States. I'm very much used with my country, my climate, my everything. So the same way those people are used with some other situation, and suddenly you brought them and then bring to the new environment, it's hard for them. And you need to give it some time to adopt actually. So those are the challenges I faced. And even in the beginning, I was wondering about how the village people will react with our project, because mostly we are getting so many foreign volunteers, they are involving in the project. Luckily, they are so good actually. They are very supportive, the neighborhood villages people. They easily understood what we are doing, and they are also started to support. But in the early stages, especially when I found the land, and then I rented a small house close to the land to start my project, and then nobody knows what I'm going to do, and they thought I'm going to start an ashram because of my hair. So they asked me, "Oh, you are going to start some ashram?" I said, "No." Those are all, it's funny, but it's a challenge too, for me to make them to understand, okay, this is what we are going to do. But it takes a while for the people and everyone to understand what we are doing, and also people from the different background and staying together. So those are all the small challenges. And the biggest challenge still we are facing is we don't have any regular contributions. So we are all the time I go and give the presentation, collecting small donations. Some people, they are contributing during the birthday and their celebration day, they give some donations. So that way we are managing. We don't have any regular contribution. So what's happening right now, this is not my wish to come and present, but I wish to be with them, to work with them. But ultimately it takes so much my time to raise money to run the project. This I feel so complicated for me at the moment. Otherwise, we have a very happy life. Yeah. Yes, please.
Do the volunteers coming from Europe, do they contribute when they come and stay there?
At the moment, we are not encouraging, because for me they are already coming all the way and they want to help. They're giving all the time, all the skills and everything. But they seeing that actually we are running out of the money, so we rented a small house for the volunteer to stay. Actually, because we are staying on the land with a little hut, they are staying in a house actually with electricity, with internet connections. So they themselves paying the rent for the house, and they're also contributing a small money for the food sometime. But we are not really demanding them. But we are happy to share whatever meals we have, whatever the source we have. But sometimes volunteers, they contribute, sometimes they don't contribute, but we are not demanding anybody. But it's always encouraging, if they could contribute at least 2-3 euros, 2 euros a day or something for the food, for the accommodation, for internet, for everything. But it's depending on the volunteer. But from our side, we always welcome the people to be with us. Yeah.
I have some friends who have done different programs internationally. It tends to be fairly common that they ask for something, even though you're volunteering.
Yeah.
And that might help to stabilize.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
I swear I didn't talk to him.
Actually,
Talking about this.
she was encouraging me to charge something, but personally, again, I talk, because for me. They're coming all the way, first of all. They paid for their flight, they're coming, they're spending their time, they're giving all their skills for the project, for the people. So it's hard for me to demand some money.
You don't have to demand, you can suggest.
Okay. Anyway.
Quick question. If you were going to live with Karthik for 2 weeks and have your housing and your food covered and learn with him for 2 weeks, would you be willing to pay $100?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. But anyway, but personally, we'll see. Okay, but we are very happy to share whatever we have. But already we always when I receive the volunteer, I tell the truth, fact, what's happening here, what we have, and everything. And I never say anything. But if they are interested, sometimes the volunteer themselves bring some rice, some vegetables, something for the cooking, all the things. That's can happening also.
Some ways they approach it is suggested contribution,
Okay.
as opposed to demanded tuition. If you
Or
give
suggested
the term,
donation.
yeah. And so even if a suggested contribution is 25 pounds of rice,
Yeah.
to make it concrete, because it's an exchange, and it can be a fair exchange. Yes, they're giving their work,
Yeah.
but they're also getting a big experience.
And your time, which is super sacred.
Yeah.
Does your website accept contributions?
At the moment, we don't have yes, but the online transfer is not possible. But right now, my contact person, Sam. So you can, if anything, you can transfer to her. And
I'm his mule.
yeah.
Are you looking for other places to present your information
And
while you're here?
today is my last day.
Oh, today's your last day? Oh, did you make a video?
I think you made video. Yeah?
Yes.
You are making,
You
yeah.
can get a copy of it.
Okay.
I'd like to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I was just wondering how else we might be of service to to what you're doing. Is there any way that we can help as a community?
Yeah, you are most welcome to come to our village, and you can do your volunteer service with us. So right now we are planning to construct a little more huts, actually like a mud house or the bamboo house. So we need to have people, volunteers, to involve our day-to-day work. So you can come and stay with us, and if you have the background with the psychologist or a special educator or a clinical oriented, you can involve directly with the people. Actually, even though people are going to involve with each and every activity, but you could help us to create a curriculum in our day-to-day activities to involve directly with the people. Otherwise, we have the huge opportunity to work on the land in the farming. So there is a lot of possibility, and also get the local culture. Actually, there's so many. Very happy to see we have still on the village. There is very indigenous, 1,000 years old dance and the songs. They want to reclaim all the things. So whenever we have a celebration, we invite those group and they play dance. It's so amazing, beautiful actually to listen all those things. Actually, those experiences definitely will get. Yeah.
Ben, and this may have to be our last question. Ben,
sure.
Yeah.
So I was really interested to hear you say that you were studying at Quail Springs.
Yeah.
Here. Quail Springs is a basis for a project that I'm doing here that has a lot to do with the fact that many of the things that Quail Springs is doing are not legal here, like some of the buildings and so forth. Like the mud house you built wouldn't be legal here.
Yeah.
And many of us want to create these legal pathways in the States, especially in California, to do kind of become indigenous again in a modern context, right? So I just wanted to mention this because I'm going to take one of your brochures as I leave, and I hope that I'll find some clarity that I can reach out to you and talk about the possibility of connecting into a network of villages that are not, one has greater need than another, but we mutually support each other with common goals in the local context of where we are ecologically. And
wow.
Yeah, so
oh, great.
I'm really inspired by what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you for this great opportunity, and again I welcome you all. And you can remember you have a beautiful home in India. You are all the time you are welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.